there are people on this earth that leave toothpaste in the sink. And these people are the same people that microwave fish in the break room at work. They're people that listen to videos full volume in public. They're people that don't change the empty toilet paper roll. They're people that fart in elevators. There are people that live in certain parts of the country that they say, oh, don't say the S word when it gets to November, which is the word snow. There are people that leave their shopping cart out of the corral when they go grocery shopping. There are people that use the baby on board stickers and drive like assholes, hoping you don't run them off the road because they've been driving in the left lane, but they have the baby on board sticker. There are people that eat ketchup on steak. And all of these people have one thing in common other than all of that huge list. And there are people that celebrate fucking Groundhog Day. Welcome back to episode 40 of Failure at its Finest Hour. And on today,
well said.
On Thursday,
that's fucking stupid.
Is Groundhog Day.
The ketchup on the steak.
Oh my gosh. Seriously though, I don't understand Groundhog Day. I mean, I know what it is. I know a little bit about it, but why?
I don't. I barely.
Well, Chris, you're going to get a history lesson right here. It's just
I hate it so much.
Just for people to get a bunch of people out, a bunch of dudes in Pennsylvania, to all get out on a platform and grab this filthy rodent out of its little burrow and hold it up for the world
to see. Get that fucking groundhog over here.
And they got the fucking, they're all wearing top hats and have curly Q mustaches, and they all shop at Aldi, and I don't have anything against Aldi. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just a weird holiday. So
I don't get it.
Well, just imagine back in the day, right? Like, you didn't have a bunch of entertainment, so it's like there's so much shit you can do in the fucking winter.
So good point. So you're fishing rodents out of their holes to show to the world.
They're like, get out of your hole. The fuck are you looking at? What's he looking at? Is he looking at his fucking shadow?
What kind of people take the day off work to go to a televised event in Pennsylvania to see Punxsutawney Phil, which has been a bajillion different groundhogs because their life expectancy is like 2 years. And why do you taking a vacation day to go see some guy pull a rat out of a fucking hat? Like, what are you doing? So in Pennsylvania, on February 2nd, there will be a televised event, which is derived from a Pennsylvania Dutch superstition that if a groundhog emerges from its burrow on this day and sees its shadow due to clear weather, it will retreat to its den, and winter will go on for 6 more weeks. If it does not see its shadow because of cloudiness, spring will arrive early, which is such a horse shit.
Oh, then
if
you believe in that, dude. If you believe in that, your knuckles are scabbed from dragging on the ground your whole life.
I don't think anyone believes. I mean, I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm sure there are some people that are like, "Oh, the groundhog saw a shadow." Like,
you know what they say about that.
So
groundhog. He saw it. So
yeah, let's hear the rules here. I forget which way it goes. If he sees, I forget
if he comes out and it's essentially
enlighten me.
It's all about the weather. If they pull the groundhog out of the freaking dirty sock that it's been living in, and it's a clear day out when they do that, then they're like, oh, there's no groundhog shadow, so 6 more weeks of winter. Let me look. Hold on a second. Hold on one friggin' minute here. Punxsutawney Phil rules. Groundhog Day rules. Here we go.
That's Groundhog Day rules.
If the groundhog comes out of the hole on this day and sees a shadow, it gets scared and runs back into the burrow, predicting 6 more weeks of winter. So if the weather is nasty when it's out
6 more weeks of winter.
Or no, excuse me, when it's nice because the sun's out, so there's a shadow. He gets scared and runs back into his burrow because he's afraid of his shadow because he's a rodent and he knows nothing more than Cheez-Its and, I don't know, little grubs. If it's a shitty day out and there's no shadow, that means an early spring. And it's this. There's the society Groundhog Day. Men, let's look that up. That's okay. Have your safe search on, folks. There's like a little the Punxsutawney.
Yeah, make sure you turn that shit on.
Punxsutawney Groundhog.
You want that unadulterated fucking Groundhog Day access, baby.
So there's all these guys.
If it's shitty out.
So here are the members. I'm going to screen share here. This is the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club, established in 1887. Let's get a screen share going here. First shout out to the YouTube. Here we go. So we've got Punxsutawney Phil, the weather predictor extraordinaire, Tom Dunkel, the president, the shingle shaker, Dan McKinley, vice president in Moonshine.
Wait,
Jeff
Lundy. These aren't real names.
Jeff Lundy, the fair weatherman. Jeff Grube, treasurer, sky painter. AJ Darium, Punxsutawney Phil's handler. This is the guy you see on TV holding the little bastard. Shitter. John Johnston, the chief healthman.
Walmart greeter.
Butch Philibert. Look at this cat.
Oh my god, Butch Philibert. That guy's got a model train set.
What'd you say?
That guy's got a model train set. But every tree and statue is a person's body part in his basement.
Butch Philibert, the Iceman. Dave Gigliotti, the Thunder Conductor. Jason Gruski, Secretary,
Master, Dave
Secretary, big chill. Patrick Osikowitz just says ozone. So that's cool. And then Jory Sarian, Daybreaker. Oh, we got more. Oh my gosh. Rob McCoy, Downpour. I'm not even going to go there. Patrick Cassaday, Head Huntsman, Josh Farkas, Frostbite, Rob Gemmel, Storm Builder, and we got Marcy Galando, the executive director. Okay, so it's she owns the property probably that it's on. We're not going to go into all that, but
sure.
So yeah,
Jesus, those names were you could. That's
the crew.
What a fucking good group of fucking folks you got there, man.
Yeah,
calm down, Dave Gigliotti.
So, I got some weird facts here. I don't know why it's just so ridiculous. I don't
still Rumpelson.
I don't even have. I just don't even have anything interesting to say about it because it's just so stupid. 8 surprising things you didn't know about Groundhog Day.
I don't understand.
First, the Germans started the whole Groundhog Day thing. The holiday Candlemas, which is where they handed out candles, I guess, to get people through the winter. I'm going to skip some of these. This is just ridiculous. The original Groundhog Day involved eating groundhogs and this is goodhousekeeping.com here, so they know about food, I would assume. The original Groundhog Day involved eating groundhogs after sightseers celebrated Punxsutawney Phil's weather prediction in 1886. They all headed over.
Fucking blow his head off.
They all headed over to Gobbler's Knob to dine on a feast made up of groundhog dishes and the equally delicious sounding groundhog punch.
So this is clearly a fairy tale. This is not real.
That already sounds way more eventful.
Gobbler, once again, keep your safe search on, but Gobbler's Knob is the pedestal it's like the little tree stump that's there that says Phil that has a little door on it. Here, I'll screen share again for the YouTubers.
It's a portal to hell in Gobbler's Knob.
Gobbler's Knob. There's a joke in there somewhere.
This is definitely an Urban Dictionary too.
Somewhere in there's a joke for Gobbler's Knob. But as you
get your knob gobbled at Gobbler's Knob.
I'm sure there are t-shirts.
Oh. Gobbler's Knob.
Watch out for the slob goblin at the Gobbler's Knob.
So they got a leather
inside the stump.
It looks like a leather cap on this stump, and then obviously his little name there with a little trap door that has a tiny little lock on it. Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
So keep him locked away in there.
The other cat. No, I think he can free roam. They probably stuff him in there just before they yank him out.
Sure as shit, dude.
Which you can't really say yank him out on
Gobbler's Knob's in Urban Dictionary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why don't you give the listeners the urban definition, Dylan?
You
Oh
can
my
read.
gosh.
Is it
A dance where both male ghoulies and unit are externally displayed through holes in their briefs or boxers, then shaken vigorously while moving hips rapidly from side to side. Also called the Wang Doodle.
the old Wang
So
Doodle.
the piss hole in your boxers, you just whip your shit out and give it a swing.
It literally just sounds like when a bunch of dudes get together, they whip their dicks out and shake them around.
And maybe that's what the crew that Punxsutawney Phil is surrounded by.
That's what they're doing. Is they're
Maybe,
gobnobbling.
yeah.
Knob.
A couple of those guys look like they have been gobbling a few knobs.
I don't know where that was
fucking
going.
hot dogs too. Jesus Christ.
Well, that's what knob gobbler.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe.
Anyways.
Uh,
What a mason jar of water, Chris? Or is that fucking liquor?
It's pure moonshine.
Oh, damn.
in other news,
You just went outside and scoop that in the snow to get some fucking fresh water.
Moonshine.
This podcast is already off the rails. So we've got Stubbs Museum Bar. For those of you who don't live in Upper Michigan, there's a place. There's two museums in Ontonagon, Michigan, one of which is the Ontonagon Historical Society Museum, and the other one is Stubbs Museum Bar.
A legit museum.
And there's probably, if anybody ever, all the conspiracy theorists and doomsday preppers probably are aware of this, but if anybody ever, I bet you half of those guns in that place are operational. For those who don't know, Stubbs Museum Bar has a ton of just old weapons from every war and
logging equipment.
So a great way to explain it is the history museum.
Yeah.
Like the normal museum is a normal ass has all this history bullshit. What Stubbs is basically like a fucking garage filled. It's like a garage. It's like a collection of just random shit.
Fucking scythes and saws all over the wall.
Really horrific taxidermy.
Really shitty taxidermy. You got fucking weapons on the wall. You got fucking old beaver traps. You can fucking, if you probably can name it, you can probably find it on the wall.
Horseshoes.
Yeah, you know what we need to do?
Spikes. Oh my god.
What we need to do for Stubbs is, how you can go on Google and you can go on you can walk through a city, essentially. You can go to the street view. You can pick an address, start there, and you're essentially walking down the road because the Google van takes photos, at 360 degrees. So what we need to do is we need to get Stubbs to get on board with this, and we need to take a high quality photo of single items in there. Let's say for the first round, we'll do 10. Pick 10 items, and then we'll go in Stubbs and we'll take 360 degree photos, kind of like the Google van does, and you can virtually walk through Stubbs. And you can see like a little beacon on an item, and you can click on it, and then that shows you the zoomed in picture, and it gives you the history or who donated it or what war it was used in, and then that can be like a way for them to generate money. They can do like a subscriber thing, go to stubbs.com and take the virtual walkthrough.
You can think that might take away from people coming there to actually see shit?
No, because I think people would actually want to go back there. There are probably guns that were donated back in the day, and people's grandchildren had no idea that their grandpa was even in a war, or this, that, or the other, or like the stories behind some of the taxidermy or the massive fish that are on the wall, that sort of thing. So just not food for thought, Stubbs Museum Bar fans. But I think,
unfortunately, I never remember what Stubbs looks like. I can't really recall what it actually looks like.
Is that because of the fine beverages that they serve there?
I would like to go
there during
the day when there's actual natural light coming in there and actually walk through there. And
I think
the roaches. But
I think there's a total of 3 windows in there. One just actual window, and 2 of the windows are just the front door and the back door.
You turn the lights on all the text.
You have to bring some fucking flashlights to look at everything.
Yeah.
My point is I went in there and looked at everything. I just gone in there and glanced at shit before.
Yeah, it's very it's an experience. Anyways, we're a relatively lazy podcast. I could have paid $1 to subscribe to the Detroit Free Press and read you the article they wrote, but I'm not going to do that. And I'm sad that I'm not going to do that, but I'm not paying the $1 to do that because this just came up today that I realized that that they were doing it. But
basically, it talked about Stubbs. I mean, if you want to buy it, then buy it. But I'd read the first part and it said that it basically said that was the Museum of Ontonagon, and it didn't even mention the actual museum, which is hilarious.
Oh my gosh! I mean, people from the west end of the UP, people that travel to Ontonagon, they know about Stubbs Bar. It is a hidden gem in some ways. But anyways, I digress. So another thing, this is another meat and potatoes chunk that I wanted to get to here, as we all love meat and potatoes. But the Greenland or Algoma Spring, for those of you who don't know, I'm gonna pull up a little article here and read it to you guys. And so,
Jesus Christ.
So, this is from the Michigan.gov/DNR. DNR ordered to shut down unregulated water source in Ontonagon County. And just wait, we're getting to the Facebook group. So it says process underway to cap off water, curtail access. Michigan DNR has been ordered to shut down an unregulated water source at a roadside access point some locals have used for drinking water and other household needs for decades. An order was issued to the DNR in December by Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. Many people know them as EGLE, EGLE. And this spring, I remember going to this spring. My parents used to go because the water in the village isn't good. And yes, we live in a village in Ontonagon, and that's where we grew up. And it is just this little, it's like a few bricks. I can show a picture of it. It's just like a few bricks and like a pole, and there's just water flowing out of this like random spigot that some people say was used by an old like railroad station that used to go through there. And
it's just all fucking spring water.
Yeah, but it's coming out of like a weird little like faucet head thing.
Yeah, it's a little spigot because they got the whole little thingamabob going on there.
So this is
little hose
for the YouTubers. This is the spring, very rinky dink, very I don't even know if you can say rinky dink anymore. Sorry, folks.
So that
what do you mean?
So that whole setup they have there, I can understand like why that's not a good idea because like obviously
why don't they just put some money into it?
They could just make that legit, make that like a old, those fucking old
with the drain barrels. Yeah.
You can make that legit.
All it would take was like $400 to make that a nice place.
Yeah. And so there is a small coalition in the UP that is trying to halt this whole thing. And it's supposed to go down by June 30th this year. And there's a Facebook group that's in Ontonagon in which I will not name any of the people that are commenting, but some of the comments are interesting. So the whole thing is people have been getting this water to drink, just drink straight up, to cook with, to bring it out to their camps. And it's just an endless supply. This thing's flowing. I would probably say I'm going to go probably like 3 gallons a minute. I'm probably going like about 3 gallons a minute, I want to say, because the shower heads at work or the water flow at work is like 1.3 gallons, and it's about double that.
That's not.
So anyways, you can get a lot of water out of there. So let me scroll to this Facebook group because this is incredible. So
some of the big things was like, you can go with the Facebook group shit.
So somebody commented, we need to stop the closing in the Algoma Spring. The DNR office is going to seal it off in February, even though they say they're going to cap it off in June. And the top comment is, it is about control, not safety. And this is probably where the problem starts very quickly. And somebody saying, I agree that the tests prove it's safe for drinking, which it's been tested like more than 6 times. The lowest number I saw was 6, so let's just say 6. And it was deemed safe. I know there was one point where I heard that it tested positive for some bacteria or something like that. But this guy commented, I don't think it would matter if you got everybody in the entire Upper Peninsula and Wisconsin to call, and maybe a little bit of Minnesota. I'll be surprised if it isn't illegal to drink the water out of Superior. And so there's like this I don't know, headspace of like conspiracy kind of thing where it's just like, oh, it's the man trying to take us down. You know, it's a free, clean water source, and they'd rather shut it down than have us pay for it. But then there's another comment on this huge post, on this page, I should say, that kind of pointed it out pretty clearly. It says, I just talked to so-and-so from Eagle. They were very nice and explained the state of Michigan's concern. One major reason is that the water seeped out of the pipe and appeared on snowmobile trail. They had signs up that said, drink at your own risk. And somebody has ripped that sign down 4 to 5 times. And probably because they don't want anybody, not necessarily in the public, but anybody from the state of Michigan or DNR to know it's there. So it said, but after having 4 to 5 signs being ripped down in a short period, they have to investigate the main source that it's coming out of the mine and where it's at, which takes a lot of money, and they're only allocated a certain amount for land and water. This person who called, called Eagle, asked if anyone talked to residents about pooling money together to help find the source of it. And people have been like calling and leaving like nasty messages and all this stuff, and it's not helping. And it's unbelievable. Like I could go on and on and on. Like I really wish some people would know where the decision is coming from than to complain who made this decision. We need to prove the source of this water is coming from an artesian well or groundwater table. When I called the state representative and got the facts, it is apparently that some idiot called in to bring Eagle and the health department. Protesting has to be targeted to these agencies. And it's just the fucking wrong thing to go about it. It's just like this thing's just like blowing up. And it's so funny because this is a spring that I went to as a kid, filled up water bottles and water jugs for home, and nobody thought anything of it. And I find it funny that the DNR, eventually found out about it. Maybe they've known about it for years, and they're just like, okay, this is getting out of control here. People ripping down signs and damaging property because it's on state land, Michigan state land.
Yeah, there's like, I don't think it's a snowmobile trail. I'm pretty sure there's some short trail or road on that.
Yeah, it's an old railroad grade, because there used to be a railroad, some sort of station there, some stop or something. And people are complaining that their water's undrinkable and that they've been using it to feed livestock and water some sort of crops for years. And it's just, I guess here's my suggestion to the people of Ontonagon and the surrounding area. Go about it the right way. Call the representatives, hound the representatives in a professional manner. You're not going to get anywhere by bitching and leaving death threats. I promise you that. And it's not a conspiracy for the government to cap it off, and then Nestle or Ice Mountain's going to drive up and say, hey, this is clean water. It's coming from an artesian well. Those companies do have the money, and if you make a big enough stink about it, then they're going to find out about it. They'll pay the money to have it done, and then nobody will have access to it. It'll be fenced off, and they'll sell it, because I've seen it done. There's a spring down here at that the camp that I worked at, and Ice Mountain is based out of Everett, Michigan. Ice Mountain, the most of the water comes out of that. There's like some ungodly like 20,000 gallons a minute flowing out of this thing, and they're bottling it, and the Ice Mountain that you drink in the Upper Peninsula comes from there. So they found out about that spring. The guy that was like personally owned the property, they bought like the rights or this, that, or the other, got it from him. He got a payout, which I'm sure it wasn't enough, but regardless. And now that water is bottled on what used to be his property. So the state of Michigan owns it. And if they want to go about it, the state of Michigan can make a bunch of money. But if a bunch of local yokos make a huge stink about it, it's going to be a problem. And you're not going to get what you want. They're not going to keep the spring open for everybody. They're going to cap it off, and it's going to there's going to be a factory put up. So watch what you do, I guess. But
so is it on state land?
Yes, the DNR owns. They say online the DNR owns the land. I think it's the state of Michigan owns that land. So, but my best guess is to start a committee in town, have meetings, and have somebody spearhead it that knows what the hell they're talking about. Get the mayor involved. Get whoever's got their head on straight involved. That
raise some money.
That can raise some money, or have a specialist come out, which is going to be Eagle anyways, and do it the right way to save your water source.
Not only do you have to test it once, like I don't know the actual regulation to keep it up and going, but you would have to test it probably throughout the year, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously make sure like wherever they're getting the water from out of the ground's like good to go. Because like what's going on with that little hose, like that's not like probably an approved way.
Exactly.
Just
a fucking pipe.
Ground.
Yeah, that it's a.
So it's going to cost them money to basically make.
Mm-hmm.
No, not really that, but it's a couple $1,000s a year. Now just to maintain all that shit.
You're telling me they can't afford that shit?
Well, and another
fucking stupid.
Another problem.
If they do a certain $1 million a book, that's all right. I'll just.
Sorry, I think
trying to talk at the same time.
I think I'm cutting you off because I'm a little bit delayed as well.
Well, I was just gonna say, like when everyone's making fucking budget cuts, like it's small shit like that that's gonna get cut. Like I'm sure there's other places and other things in Michigan that.
And what people don't understand,
same type of shit. Like a fucking.
What people don't understand is that,
like we just like it's a budget cut. Like
we're so delayed. It's so terrible. All right. So what people don't understand, sorry I cut you off. What people don't understand is that in order to get this thing to be a legitimized water source and for the DNR to stop, it's probably going to have to go through some sort of approval process through the state of Michigan. And who the state of Michigan uses for water testing is Eagle. They're the ones that spurred this whole thing on. I'm sure they tested it a bunch of times, and then the state of Michigan decided to shut it down because of vandalism, because they don't know where it's coming from. It could be a potential public health risk if there's fucking uranium in the water. And Eagle is the ones who test that. I deal with them every month in the summer. I send my water out to them for my pool that I have to maintain, and they're the ones that are the justice on that. And the legislators and the people that are making the decisions are going to go to them to ask about it. So if you poo-poo on all these people, they're not going to give you what you want. Is my point. So, very interesting topic though. I can't wait to see how this plays out, and until it plays out with legislature and all that sort of stuff, or with the red tape, the bureaucracy, the government. I'm just gonna watch the Facebook.
The only way I see
and watch people blow up in it.
The only way I see that place staying there is if someone ends up being able to buy it, and then like they pay for all the testing and like maintenance of it. Because like other than that, like I don't think Michigan's gonna pay to fix that place up. Unfortunately,
also
I also used to go there and get water all the time, so I do think it's kind of a bummer. But at the end of the day, like I legitimately understand like why they're getting rid of it.
Yeah. Also, like, fucking relax a little bit too.
Yeah.
Some people are getting really bent out of shape over this fucking shit.
They are, and I get if their water if their water isn't drinkable, there's other ways to do it that do involve a bit of work. And
how isn't their water drinkable?
That's what I'm saying. It's personal preference. I know the water in White Pine has been really great. That tap water is incredible to drink, or at least it was at one point in my life. But that's the thing. I don't know what their water system is out there in the middle of nowhere compared to being in the village water. Like if people are driving from Ontonagon to get a gazillion gallons of this stuff, they don't even know. That's yeah. There are filters that filter out lead as well. They are expensive though. So
fucking seriously.
Another thing too is that
most Brita filters most Brita filters.
Brita filter will fucking do the job.
Yeah, and another scary thing too.
We got a fucking filter on our tap.
There's a
the
guy on
water's
the
not even bad
Facebook.
Here.
There's a guy in the Facebook group that is saying that he pulls like 300 gallons a week out of this thing to feed him and his 9 family members or his 9 kids or whatever.
I believe it.
But that's the thing. You don't, and you're just trusting. You're just blindly trusting that from years and years.
They all have like 3 eyes.
Yeah, you're just blindly trusting that this water's okay, and because you've heard it's been tested, you've gone on a Facebook group and said, "Oh, it's been tested. It's fine. It's this. That's that. Whatever." And you don't even know.
I can't figure out why my kids keep dying.
Yeah, you just have no clue. So there is some small-mindedness on behalf of the surrounding community on this issue. And small-mindedness is okay. You just need to be willing to work in a calm and professional manner with people that are sitting in a suit in an office in Lansing. That's my only suggestion, bar none. You just gotta chill. So
yeah, relax, dude.
In other news, Michigan related news, and I think Tony mentioned this. If you guys listening have made it this far, thank you. Tony's not here. He's got the tonsillitis, so he's two members of the podcast have been affected by their tonsils. But anyways, another Michigan news.
Wait, what's tonsillitis?
He's got like they're all infected.
His throat is sore as shit or what?
Yeah, I guess
sounds horrible.
Yeah. So another I guess
right,
not
my bad.
So not Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked with a hammer.
Oh my god.
Recently, and the guy broke into the house. Cops got there, and Paul Pelosi and this guy just opened the front door like together, and they're both hanging onto this hammer.
All right.
And then the video is kind of wild, and I don't really think we can show it but anyways, the video's on YouTube. You can watch it. They open the front door together. Paul opens the door up, and he's got his hand on this hammer with his other guy who's like twice his size. And the cops are like, put down the hammer. He's like, no, and he yanks away from Paul Pelosi and domes him. And Paul drops like just stack of potatoes.
Whack.
And then the cops go in and get him. Paul was in the hospital for 6 days. Had reconstructive surgery.
He was snoring.
Part of his skull. Yeah, he and then this guy calls like a reporter in San Francisco and he has a very weird, like, he says freedom and liberty isn't dying. It's being killed systematically and deliberately. He goes on to say, the people killing it have names and addresses. So I got their names and addresses so I could pay them a visit. And he goes on to apologize. He said, I'm deeply sorry for what I've done. He said, I did a really bad thing. He's like, I'm so sorry to you guys. And I regret that I didn't get more. Like that he didn't do better is what he said. And so, and there's all this other crazy articles. And this guy's got a neck beard from hell to pick on this.
Hell yeah, dude.
Pick on this piece of shit. And don't get me wrong here, listeners. I don't care about
classic Proud Boy.
I don't care about Nancy Pelosi, and I don't care about I don't have any political affiliation towards either of them. But you gotta see this guy. Let me pull this up. This is
dude, gosh. And they had that motherfucker Winnie the Pooh, like he was there and his shirt was fucking underwear on,
and he's like he's in like basketball shorts. And I mean,
like he cracks the door open. He's just like, "Hi."
Yeah.
He's like, "Is everything okay?" And
it's,
like,
the most,
no.
it's the most.
Like,
bizarre. It's the most bizarre. Here's this picture of this guy, just neared it out, just heavy neck beard. I gotta get a little bit. I gotta get a little bit off mine, but I mean, this dude's probably like 7 feet. You won't be able to hear it as a problem.
Is that the Crimson Neck?
I just want to watch this dude get his ass beat.
This isn't the video. I don't have that pulled up because we can't show Paul Pelosi getting domed. So anyways, because it's on YouTube. So anyways, I do put that the video's not made for children. You know what? I wonder if
it's not amazing him getting whacked. but
Yeah.
it's amazing. Just the interaction is so
And
strange.
you won't be able to hear the audio. The audio is the funny part because he opens a door and he's like, it's just like the dopiest exchange. You got Barney Fife on the fucking police force, just hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
I kind of think I don't know. It's weird. There's a lot of speculation on what happened, like what the truth was about the whole thing.
he like gets in through his back door and
Yeah.
no pun intended, and there's some exchange inside. And somebody called the cops. I don't know if it was old Nance herself or what.
I think Paul did. Because I think Paul snuck and called 911,
and then confronted him when he like came around the bend of the stairs or something.
I think this. It seems like this guy had Paul and he was waiting for Nancy to get home. And then one of the interviews said that like I was waiting for Nancy, and if she would have got home, I would have killed her.
Jeez. Yeah, people. I just don't even know.
Business.
It's kind of crazy that they didn't have any sort of like.
How could you kill Nancy Pelosi, man?
Scared. I don't know how you didn't have any sort of security.
She's got a great set for 82 years old.
She got a. All right, cutting that. Oh my gosh. Anyways, we're gonna move past.
We might have to cut the whole thing. The connection's horrible.
Is it really bad? Well, that's the thing though. It's gonna record and everything.
Connection is dropping.
Everything will be
plummeting.
Everything will be great on the recording. It's just the live action that's tough. Looks like Dylan's watching the video right now. I'll have to see what he says.
All right.
He's giggling.
Just whap.
I mean, it's kind of, and it's that's like
Dude,
that's like a 16-inch claw
death
hammer.
Rattle.
That thing is, I mean, it's no like little
drop the hammer. Oh no.
Yeah, and then and this dude is not agile.
How did he live? He's 82.
I don't know. The cops jumped on him. He probably hit him like once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they kicked him in the neck a couple times. You didn't feel anything.
He full blown like haymakers it too. I mean, the wind up on that looks like he was swinging like a 20, just a splitting maul. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
It seems like It seems like he meant to crack the door open a little bit. Like if you watch it, looks like he tried to crack the door to tell the cops everything is okay, but he swung it open and the guy didn't know what to fucking do. He's like,
Yeah, if I would have been Paul, I would have been like, shoot this guy, tase this guy. He's got a hammer. He's trying to kill me and my family. So another dude
probably he looks
another Hammer Time news.
Another news.
This year was the second inaugural season of the Michigan Panthers, the USFL team, and they got hammered 2-8. 2-8 was the final record, but the good news is that they get to play at Ford Field now. So they made enough of a splash where the Detroit Lions said, "Hey, you and the Philadelphia Stars can have your home games at Ford Field," which is cool. And they were champions.
Well, I'm sure they get a little chunk of the revenue, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, they're probably going to sell tickets.
Yeah, all the people that watch it.
Yeah. Spring Football League is pretty cool. But in 1983, the Michigan Panthers were the champions of the, I think there was only like 6 or probably 8 teams in the whole USFL.
Remember watching. I don't even remember it being a thing last year.
Yeah, it was. I remember we made a big stink about it.
Quiet.
Maybe just before the podcast or maybe during the podcast, and we talked about it a little bit. But we're 40 episodes old now.
Unrememberable.
Yeah. And Chris, you had brought up just before we jumped in the chat here that Alec Baldwin has been formally charged in the Rust shooting.
Dude.
Which is crazy. Mm-hmm. Maybe we could shoot.
They charged him because they charged him because some of the basis is that they had a weapon safety training course before the shooting, and instead of taking the course, he was on his phone the whole time talking to family and shit, and he only paid attention for like half of the course.
Yikes.
So he didn't know how to take and clear a weapon and make sure that it wasn't loaded or anything like that.
Yeah, this article says that
So they basically threw his ass under the bus.
Mm-hmm. When he
Yeah.
did kill someone.
This article,
He's not going to serve any jail time. He's a fucking rich millionaire.
I don't know, dude. This one says that he did not take firearm training on the Rust movie set seriously, which is in line with what you said. And the prop gun, apparently Baldwin maintains that he never pulled the trigger. So he said it just went off. But was charged with somebody else.
This doesn't happen.
Some guy is
it
charged with
involuntary manslaughter, I'm sure.
involuntary manslaughter on behalf of the person who was supposed to assist with Baldwin's safety training and did not check each round loaded into the firearms and didn't follow appropriate safety protocols. And I don't.
So was it a blank deck or was
No, it was a live round. They had
a live
live. They had live rounds on set. For whatever fucking reason that they shouldn't. That's the thing. Nobody knows. Or they're gonna find it out in court anyways. So he had it. He had it pointed at people, and I don't know if he was like just dicking around.
Right? You mean you think it's a fucking prop gun, so it's like you're not treating it. I mean, like,
yeah,
which is never a thing. Like a prop.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And I didn't even know prop guns could really fire live rounds out of them. So
Yeah,
what probably
like is it a prop gun or is it like a real gun that was supposed to be shooting blanks that didn't have blanks in it?
well, that's what I'm saying is because actually I recall reading that they don't actually use prop guns in movies anymore. They use because handguns can still fire blanks and cycle without having a special bolt in it or anything. So yeah, they just did not have the right ammunition.
That's not good.
That's fucked. So
yeah. So that's
you know what?
That's
kind of a bummer, but I don't give a fuck about a Hollywood celebrity. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a good,
especially a guy who doesn't pay attention to like I don't know. There's more shit to worry about.
I feel like he'll serve less than a year
and then do like probation for 5 years.
Probation and fines.
I'm sorry for what I did. I can't believe I've done it.
Is that your Alec Baldwin impression?
The gun shot itself.
So he's like trigger.
Yeah.
So you're saying
the gun shot itself? That doesn't make sense. What's like the narrative that a lot of people say is like, well, guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Alec Baldwin kills people.
The gun killed her.
Oh, well,
see you, Aaron.
Sorry for the loss
what in the fuck is going on over there?
Dude.
Unstable connection.
Walmart.
Am I getting the Wally going? Am I getting the Wally going?
It's because fucking jamming odds dial up over there.
It's because my roommates are
4 meg.
My roommates are streaming all
they're
of
watching,
the Lord.
They're watching YouTube videos.
Jesus.
They're streaming all of the Lord of the Rings movies on different devices all at once.
Yeah.
So anyway,
they're broadcasting television from a tower on top of the apartment.
That's run by Punxsutawney Phil's. Just all of the old reject Punxsutawney Phil's are just on a wheel that is powering my router right now.
Yeah.
Well, hey, this was episode 40 of Failure at its Finest Hour. We will catch you in the very near future.
Dude, I turned.
Thanks for listening to Failure at its Finest Hour.
I saw a dude. There was a dude ripping fucking pills in the back room one time.
Thanks for listening to Failure at its Finest Hour.
Oh yeah, side story. Remember when we drug all the equipment out of the basketball court behind that place and blew the lid off the town?
Thanks for listening to Failure at its Finest Hour.
Penguin! It was Penguin! Nice! Another perfect round.
Thanks for listening to Failure at its Finest Hour.
Distinctively remember getting thrown to the ground when that first one blew up.
Thanks for listening.